Unity Cloud was.
Fans at this time, welcome to the floor, your Spirit Squad!
It's the final night in the American. We're less than 5 days away from the conference tournament up in Connecticut. Time to sort out the remaining seeds for the conference tournament. Tonight in Tulsa, the Golden Hurricane welcome to town the Shockers of Wichita State. So Tulsa and Wichita State colliding for the second and final time for this regular season. As we take a look at your conference standings, this is game number 16 in the American. UConn, with a 2-win advantage over USF in the standings, has already locked up another regular conference victory and the number 1 seed. USF and UCF already know they are the number 2 and number 3 seeds respectively. Houston and Cincinnati will play tonight, trying to get that first day off as the number 4 seed in the American. As we welcome you in, Lincoln Rose along with Coach Angela Beck. And, well, for these Shockers, they know they're either the 6 or 7 seed with a win. They lock in that 6th spot in the conference tournament on Saturday.
You're right, and they've won 3 in a row, so she wants them to go with momentum, getting in the tournament. So it's really important that her team does well tonight and prevails on the road. Tulsa, on the other hand, they've had hard luck. They've lost 3 in a row. They're going to have to really do the little things like rebound, get some putbacks, get some good distribution of shots from their 5 players.
Take a look at the keys to the game. First up for the visitors and these Shockers, what do they need to do? Well,
they have to control the boards so they can actually, get their offense going, and then they need to press the tempo.
And for the home squad, how do the Golden Hurricanes send the seniors out on a winning note at home?
Well, get back in transition. Don't give up any easy buckets here, and be aggressive offensively. Attack them and put them back on their feet.
Well, for Wichita State, you talk about their seniors. You look in at Rangy Bassard, the career she has had since she transferred to Wichita State, looking to go out in style and carry some momentum into that conference tournament.
Well, she gets to the line more than most. She shoots the ball more than most, and she makes more than most. So 48% from the field, 80%, 82% from the free throw line. This girl can do it all. She's having a great senior year.
And for the home squad, of course, Shook Dixon, what will they need out of their top scorer here tonight?
Well, they're going to need a big night. They're going to need her to be as consistent as she possibly can. She's going to have to move on offense. She tends to stand at the top of the key. She needs to move around a little bit, get behind it, and get some good shot selection.
Shockers and Golden Hurricane tip-off from Tulsa when we return on the American Digital Network.
Wichita State University is Shocker Nation. We exceed expectations, push boundaries, seize opportunities, and move boldly ahead. We are student-centered and innovation-driven. It's who we are. Our vision is simple but powerful. Create, innovate, collaborate, and celebrate. With one unifying purpose: to shock the world.
I'm Kirk Smith, and this is my story. I'm a captain of TU's track and cross country teams, and I'm a Rhodes Scholar. My life's pretty simple. I run, I work, and then I run some more. My research focuses on combating climate change by driving down the cost of energy storage. And that's my story, so far.
We are underway from the American.
Don't miss the chance to see your team cut down the nets March 3rd to the 6th. Call the Mohegan Sun Arena or visit us online to purchase tickets today.
Back inside the Reynolds Center, just about ready to go here as it is senior night for the Golden Hurricane of Tulsa. You'll see that reflected in the starting lineup as this is your Havoc in the Heartland rivalry. While it's the first year for the Shockers to be in the same conference as Tulsa, they are no strangers to finding one another on the schedule. Take a look at Tulsa's lineup. Shook Dixon will come off the bench officially. Ebony Parker, one of your 2 seniors for Tulsa, along with Erica Wakefield, will get the starting nods for Matilda Mossman's squad.
Well, it's nice of Coach Mossman to start those seniors and give them an opportunity to, end their career right.
And, of course, no surprises for the Shockers and Keitha Adams' squad, with Bessard leading the way in scoring. Diamond Lockhart really has emerged this year, looking to continue that momentum. They will be a big part of any push they make in the conference tournament, making their debut up at the Mohegan Sun Arena and the conference tournament. That gets started on Saturday as the countdown to March and the conference tournament getting that much shorter. This is your 16th and final game on the American regular season slate. And of course, one final time, we get to check in courtside with Bruce Howard. Bruce?
Well, Lincoln and Angela talking to the two head coaches. First of all, Wichita State head coach Keitha Adams said one word simply: defense is the key tonight. And rebounding. And rebounding is a big word for Wichita State because they allowed 15 offensive rebounds for Tulsa in the earlier Golden Hurricane victory. And from Matilda Mossman of the Golden Hurricane, she said very simply, we must defend the bigs of Wichita State. They're awfully good. So it's not only defending the bigs, but finishing out the stop with a defensive rebound. So for her, it's defend and box out. There's no question. Both of these coaches believe whoever wins the rebounding battle in this game will win the game.
Thank you, Bruce. Just a 2.5-hour drive separates the two campuses of Tulsa and Wichita State. This is the 18th overall meeting between the programs. The Shockers, though, with the decisive edge so far, taking 15 of the first 17 matchups. Again, the havoc in the heartland. This rivalry between these two programs due to proximity, and now, of course, when they meet, a conference victory on the line. Wichita State right now sits 6th in the conference standings. They need to win to rest assured that they will hang on to that 6th seed. With a Wichita State loss today and an ECU victory, the Pirates would have the tiebreaker to overtake them and bump the Shockers to the 7th seed. But again, a lot will be known over the next few hours here in the conference as that bracket will become finalized.
Well, I'm shocked, Lincoln, on that first series. Tulsa came out in a 2-3 zone, which they're a man-to-man team, and they're pretty standard in their man-to-man, so it's an interesting concept that she switched it up here.
Bessard with the touch will work it down to Tompkins along the baseline. Little give and go, cannot execute, as holding her ground, Alexis Galden denying the feed. And again, Keitha Adams, in just her very first year at the helm, returning to her home state of Kansas. What a great homecoming for her. The Oxford, Kansas native, less than an hour from her hometown, now right where you imagine she would like to close out her career in Wichita, Kansas, and what a stamp she has already placed on this program.
I think she's happy, but she's definitely not finished, and she expects emotional, physical effort here tonight.
Remember, this program did not have a head coach a year ago. They went to an interim situation with Linda Hargrove returning after being retired 15 years at the helm. Hargrove literally came out of the stands where she'd been enjoying retirement as a fan. But Keitha Adams has given them nice consistency. She inherited 8 seniors, including Rangie Bessard, who connects on the 2, and she wanted to make sure they went out on a positive note.
Well, that was a nice little floater by Rangie there, showing her touch and her skill at the post position.
I know the Shockers are excited about the recruits they already have lined up to come in for next year, as well as a potential WNIT run this year, unless they can lock up that automatic bid in Connecticut. And Tulsa will strike with the first triple of the night. It belongs to Ebony Parker. How about that for the senior?
Well, it looks good to me. Nice rotation, good finish, good way to start.
Lozada Cabbage is your threat for the Shockers from beyond the arc. Sabrina Lozada Cabbage can do it all, whether it be shooting along the perimeter or banging bodies inside for the rebound.
She's also picked up her blocks. She's increased her blocks lately, and she's causing havoc defensively.
Tulsa able to save this possession. Kendrian Elliott. And of course, Matilda Mossman at the helm of Tulsa. As right now, take a look at her overall mark. Her most recent stop at a Division I program here with the Golden Hurricane. Over 200 victories throughout her career.
She said there hasn't been anything major that's happened except just a lot of minor things every single day that's really taken a toll on her program this year.
You, of course, when you were in Lincoln, Nebraska, would match up with her occasionally when she was over there in Manhattan, Kansas with the Wildcats of K-State.
I remember winning a bunch of those, but I really didn't look, so she might have beat me more. Who knows?
Did that come up on the phone call?
Of course, I'm sitting here and she's sitting there, so that's how it goes.
Congratulations, you already have your bid to the WNIT. You'll have a chance to call that final on CBS Sports Network.
Oh, thank you. It should be fun.
The Americans should have a nice representation in that WNIT field this year.
3 to 4 probably, but I don't know which 4 yet. Depends on how it ends up here.
We will note that Cincinnati and Houston got underway an hour before us, and Cincinnati off to a great start up there at home. They have a chance to overtake the Cougars with a win for that number 4 seed. Cougars cannot fall any farther than the 5 seed. So the benefit for Cincinnati, if they win, you get the 4 seed the first day off. The downside is if you win in the semifinals, you meet UConn.
Well, it's a little horrifying, but you want your team to win, and you also want to have a good record going into the WNIT, which we think Cincinnati, UCF, Houston, and Wichita, and who else am I missing?
Possibly
ECU.
Yeah.
So we have five to make 4 spots, hopefully.
Wichita State with some turnovers slowing them down early on, as that shot just off the mark for Kendrian Elliott. For Kendrian, this is a bittersweet game for her. She is from Wichita, Kansas, went to Wichita South High School, the sophomore, playing against the university from her hometown. Lozada Cabbage for 3. That one off the mark. And let's see who touched it last. Matilda Mossman barking in some instructions for her Golden Hurricane defense.
Well, it's interesting. She has Elliott and Polk both in the game. And one reason she doesn't do that is her defensive transition suffers a lot. So we'll see how long they stay together as a tandem.
Polk trying to hold her ground without the ball right now. Rangy Bessard, the matchup. And that most recent foul on Erica Wakefield, one of your 2 seniors. There's Keitha Adams. You'll recall one of the more interesting stories this year. They beat USF, handing the Bulls one of their losses. And that proved to be an 8-point victory at home at Koch Arena. And then what did she do to make sure there wasn't a letdown the next outing at Memphis? She is rumored to have donned some spandex as the go-get-it gal. There's still no confirmation that she is the go-get-it gal.
She won't confirm it. I've had several conversations. I've even tried to text and call her privately to find out if she's actually been this person, alleged person. And I don't like to spread rumors, but people feel it looked like her.
That full body suit and a motivating factor as part of quite the winning streak for the Shockers there in the midst of conference play. After Wichita State started 0-3, what an answer they had to close out January and to start February.
I think for Wichita to get some postseason play here for their 8 seniors, they need to win this game. I think losing to our last place team right now in the American probably would not put them in a good position. So it's important that, I think they play well here.
Ball over to Kiki Thompson. And they just try to force it into Bessard. Fortunately, it winds up back with the Shockers. And there's Thompson, your senior, with the strong finish at the rim.
Well, that was an assist with the screenplay by Rangy Bessard inside.
Last time we saw the Shockers in the WNIT, that was 2012. They have been to the postseason more recently than that. Last NCAA trip was 2015. Went through some player turnover the past couple of years. As we will step aside in Tulsa. Golden Hurricane and the Shockers looking to close out the regular season in the American on a winning note. Both moving on to the conference tournament this weekend.
7,000 student athletes rising to become champions in 21 different sports at 13 esteemed institutions across 11 states. 360,000 students and 2.6 million alumni rise up in celebration of a Power 6 conference known as the American.
Power comes in all forms.
Power is a big tackle,
a big save,
a clutch hit,
and a game-winning shot.
Power is also standing up for what is right.
Power is respecting an opponent, officials,
student athletes, coaches, and team representatives.
Power is not tolerating racial or ethnic comments,
profanities, or other improper actions
while at the game.
The American.
Power.
Power. Power.
Power for life.
Well, Tulsa knows they are in the tournament. They will start their conference tournament on Saturday in the American. So what's there left to play for? Well, it's a home game. It is senior night, looking to send a couple of seniors out in style. For more on that, let's check back in with Bruce.
Well, guys, it is senior day here at the University of Tulsa, and for TU, head coach Matilda Mossman says Erica Wakefield has been one of the most consistent performers she's ever seen. In fact, maybe the most four-year consistent performer Tulsa has ever seen. And as she says, that when Tulsa needs to be fired up, she fires Tulsa up. If Tulsa needs to be calmed down, she calms them down. So she's definitely the player that does what Tulsa needs to have done. And she scores when need be, or she assists when need be. She's been a tremendous four-year player. And the other senior is Ebony Parker. And when she gets hot, she is a three-point specialist. And when she makes a three-pointer, it usually starts Tulsa well, fires Tulsa up. As you saw, that three-pointer by Ebony Parker certainly was a help for Tulsa here in the early going. And Angela, as you know, senior day can be awfully emotional, but I think these two seniors have done just fine so far for Tulsa.
Yeah, Ebony certainly making the most of her start tonight. As Bruce mentioned, already has connected on a three. That briefly gave Tulsa the advantage. A tight one here early on with 4:35 to play. Wichita State up by a pair, 7-5 our score. Lincoln Rose, Angela Beck, along with Bruce Howard courtside. Glad to have you with us. One final game inside the Reynolds Center before they move on to the conference tournament up in Connecticut this weekend.
I think everybody's looking forward to go to the conference tournament. New slate, you know, it's the third season. You got your preseason, you got your, conference season, and all the coaches talk about, the postseason. And no matter what, you want to come out there and just have fun and try to do your best and win.
Tulsa has yet to dip into its bench, other than Butler, who we've seen come on. So Shug Dixon has yet to step onto the court. And in transition, nice job by Tulsa getting numbers back to slow down Kiki Thompson. It's hard to slow down Ranji Bassard. She will head back to the free throw line. No stranger to making her way to the charity stripe.
Well, Elliott let her get way too deep in the paint and then actually left her feet there on that block. Your hands were straight up, but you can't leave your feet. And Bassard went right into her. They're trying to double up Bassard, and they're doing a pretty effective job of it, but she's going to get her points somehow, some way.
Mid-season, Ranji Bassard was averaging 18.7 points a ball game, on pace to be the fourth best single season for Wichita State Shocker, and there's been no cooling off for her. She's now averaging almost 20 points per ball game. She is getting stronger and stronger as the season wears on.
Well, and she's a great free throw shooter, and she's their best rebounder, and Coach called her Fire, and then the ice is Kiki Thompson. So Fire and Ice, I said she's a little bit emotional there, and she goes, yeah, I like a player that's emotional. She's invested. She is passionate about the game, and she likes to coach those kind of kids.
Hopefully Fire and Ice maintain appropriate spacing out there on the court.
Exactly.
Tulsa struggling to get off a good look. Shot clock down to 8. They'll never get a shot off. The steal from Lockhart. Diamond Lockhart the other way will put it through for 2. Had the steal, and it leads to a pair for the former Texas Tech Red Raider.
Well, that was sweet. Just she had it in her left hand and then brought it back to her right, and just a little toss up there. Nice transition bucket.
Diamond last year as a junior for the Shockers, they averaged about 3.5 points a ball game. This year in double figures each night, just about. So right now, the Shockers defending a 6-point advantage inside 3 minutes to go. Shot clock at 15. And just trying to shake free. Nice job as the glue defensively by Lescott.
Sky's been a good rebounder for her. And there she took a physical drive to the hole, drawing 2 defenders and up and under them to draw the foul.
So free throws coming up for Rebecca Lasky, the freshman. And you appreciate a freshman with that kind of confidence.
Well, one of the things we felt like they needed to do is be aggressive offensively tonight. And that's an aggressive move. They have to get to the rim. They've got to attack them and put them back on their heels.
That was our man Josh trying to take the charge of his own. Of course, our production head is always more concerned about the equipment than actually the individual holding the equipment. But
well, he showed some athleticism on that. I don't know if we have any replays of that.
We'll put that burden on Dustin. And again, Wichita State does not block out on the missed free throw, and Tulsa with another chance to cut into the deficit here. Trailing 11-5 with 2:20 to go, and still cannot get it to fall, and finally the rebound to Angie Tompkins.
Well, it was a good look, you know, mid-range look, just didn't finish.
Well, note UConn has just about doubled up USF at the half of their final regular season meeting. They hope to again meet in the final in the conference tournament, and Bassard is fouled. That's a dangerous situation, and of course, no ill intent there by Kendrian Elliott. The sophomore just falling back on Ranji Bassard, rolling her up.
Looks like she twisted her ankle. That's what she's holding right now, so hopefully she's okay, but hopefully they're both okay.
As you'll see, just this situation, falling back on Bassard's left leg.
Ooh, that's a good look right there, replay.
You hate to see that as she's holding right above that left ankle.
Wow, that's not good. She does have the ankle braces on, which should help with that burden of that fall, but you can still injure it.
Again, Ranji Bassard out of the Houston area, started her career at Minnesota, averaging almost 20 points per outing.
Last game they played Tulane. She had 25 points, 9 rebounds, just short of a double-double. She's had 14 double-doubles in her career. Or actually this year, my bad, this year.
So she cannot shoot her own free throws. In her place, it's Alicia Faye, a freshman from France. You'll forgive her if she doesn't put any English on this ball. Makes 1 of 2. And right now for Wichita State, it's a 7-0 run over the past few minutes. Tulsa has not scored in the last 5, and that continues to be true.
Well, I like that take by Wakefield. She needs to be a little bit more aggressive offensively.
Again, 12-5 our score with a minute 30 to go here in the opening quarter. And this ball back over to Tulsa. Just a 7-point ball game right now, as Matilda Mossman sends the instructions in.
Well, Wakefield can turn it on. You and I have seen Wakefield have some tremendous games in her career. One of them was against ECU, where she dialed them up for 27 and could do no wrong. And that's the kind of game that would be nice to see her go out on her senior night. They're pretty much one and done. There's really not many players crashing the offensive boards for Tulsa yet.
Nobody currently on the court for Tulsa has actually scored today. They're only scoring from Parker and Polk. Both are on the bench at the moment. And again, we have not seen Shook Dixon for the Golden Hurricane, as they've gone 9 deep so far today. Wichita State has gone 9 as well. Right now with Stovall, Preston, Faye, Ambrosio, and the lone starter on the court for the Shockers is Tompkins. They wouldn't mind a little bit of rest. Right now you see up by 7. Most of these teams in the American have been playing as many as 4 games in the last 9 days in a hectic finish. Credit UCF, they found a way to keep winning during that push. They climbed all the way to lock in the 3 seed. And that means they will have a chance to avoid UConn until potentially the final. And there goes the drought for Tulsa as Brady connects on the 3.
Well, Brady's been known for her defense, not her offense, so that's a nice added plus for Tulsa.
Morgan Brady, the freshman out of Arkansas. And in the final seconds here of the opening quarter, a mid-court heave And it'll be Wichita State hanging on to a 6-point advantage. Again, the Shockers trying to lock down the number 6 seed going into Connecticut this weekend for the American tournament. It's your final game of conference play. Shockers and Golden Hurricane, quarter number 2 coming up here on the American Digital Network.
Oh, that ball is hit deep. Left field. Way back. That ball is gone.
Double play ball potentially. Schreitenthal's over to first. In time. Double play, and that ends the game.
Wichita State making that 2.5-hour trek to the Reynolds Center to take on Tulsa tonight. Right now a 6-point lead after 1 quarter of play here on the American Digital Network. Lincoln Rose, Angela Beck back with you, and let's check back in courtside with Bruce.
Well, Wichita State junior forward Sabrina Lozada-Cabbage has been all of her life fluent in sign language. And the reason is, well, her parents are both deaf. Her parents, Roddy Cabbage and Emma Lozada, are both deaf. And obviously, when Sabrina went to college, what was her language skill? It was sign language. So she took sign language, and someday she says she wants to teach sign language, be a sign language teacher. And Keith Adams, the head coach of Wichita State, says Bree gets along with everybody. She is able to connect with people. She has wonderful people skills. And I bet the ability to know sign language is one of the reasons that she connects and communicates with everybody. A great story.
Thank you very much, Bruce. As Sabrina, not just impressive away from the court, but certainly someone they lean on the court as a talented shooter, rebounder, and right now getting a breather during this break as we get started for the second quarter with her Shockers up by 6.
Well, Sabrina is always impressive. She's unorthodox. If you look at her, you wouldn't think she's the most talented kid on the floor, but what she does is she has the skill, the shooting touch, and she has a great basketball IQ.
Tulsa looking to cut into a 6-point deficit to start here in the second quarter. And able to find that mid-range jumper as another 2 points for Lasky. She has 4. And the rebound comes to Tajay Scales, junior out of Houston. Made about half the starts this year for Tulsa.
The first time these two teams met, Wichita did not win, and part of the reason why was because they went 1 of 11 from 3-point range. I think that's probably not what Keith Adams wants them to do, is fire up the 3 initially. I think they'd love to try to get it inside first and then take it out. And I know she's cautious about how they're shooting that 3 tonight.
Yeah, that game was the conference opener as they bookend this conference season with one another. That was the first ever Wichita State game as members of the American in conference play. That was part of a 3-game losing skid, and that game back on December 30th. But that was a game where Tulsa found its stride really in the second half and was able to start pulling away from the Shockers. Just their second ever victory against Wichita State.
Yeah, I think it was one of their low points, she said, of their year. I mean, not that they lost to Tulsa. It was just how they were feeling, and everybody just, she really had to have a heart-to-heart with her seniors and say, hey, it's your school, it's your program. This is what you're all about. What do you want to do? And she thinks, that really did help them kind of realize that, hey, if it's meant to be, it's up to me.
You had a handful of players in that game for Tulsa coming off the bench with really strong minutes, strong performances to lead them to that 5-point win. Right now, Wichita State up on Matilda Mossman's squad by 4 with 8.5 to go till halftime.
I think this is one of the emotional, like you talked about the rivalry that they have. It is an emotional rivalry because they're so close, and I do believe both teams think they can win this one. So even though Tulsa's down in the bottom of the ranks right now, I definitely feel like they have the mentality that they can win this.
Just a couple minutes in here to the start of the second quarter, and a foul on Tulsa will keep it on this end as Alicia Fay was looking to make a drive. The foul on Scales will be her first.
I haven't seen a lot of Alicia Fay. That was a nice inbounds play. Little touch shot there.
Shockers able to execute, and that lead back to 6. And they will call a foul away from the basketball. There's Andra Stovall, senior from the Dallas area. Both these programs like to dip down into Texas, obviously with Wichita State now joining the American. That means 2 trips a year, Dallas and Houston. And Tulsa trying to pull back into this one. Dixon stepping in, just playing a couple of minutes now so far in this ball game, has her first 2 points.
Well, Shug takes the most shots of anyone on the team. She's a shooter. She's thinking shoot first. And if she's on, it's a dangerous place for any team to be playing against.
Looking for a couple more points off the turnover. Lasky, who was in double figures the last time against Wichita State, will kick it out and pick up the assist for her efforts. Golden also came in strong in that first meeting off of the bench. She has her first 3.
Well, Golden definitely has had some great games. She's still a little inconsistent, but she's really improved down the stretch.
Golden out of Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. Just shy of double-digit scoring on average per night. But Tulsa now back within 1. And let's see if they can send the seniors out on a winning note this evening. Here's Tompkins, one of your Orlando natives in this league. Again, every now and then she gets to return home for those games against UCF. And Tompkins will have one more free throw. She's been pretty solid at the line. And Keith Adams is about to bring in some big names back off the bench as Lozada Cabbage and Bessard looking to check back in.
Tompkins' body language has been interesting. It seems like something's bothering her of some sort. She just, I don't know if she's sick or what, but I've been watching her here, and she just kind of has been hanging her head a little bit. And this is a big game. I would expect her to really come to play. She had 15 points last time they played Tulsa, so I'm sure that Tulsa's fully aware of her.
Lozada Cabbage comes back in for the free throw shooter, but again, Randy Bessard returns for the first time since we saw some concerns for her left leg after getting rolled up. And Wichita State able to avoid a deficit after Tulsa has started to close in. Oh, nice pass, and talk about those two trying to make immediate contributions, and Bessard misses a pair of bunnies.
Well, you don't usually see that out of Bessard. Just put a little extra juice on that.
And a nice wraparound feed, and Bessard tries to steal it back. And a frustration foul subsequently on Tulsa's Scales. Rangy just strips it away, and they'll get the bump on Scales.
Yeah, she needed to grab it and shin it and then turn. She turned and grabbed it in the same time and didn't have the ball.
So 3.5 minutes into the start of the second quarter. Wichita State led by 6 after the first period. And looking to stretch that lead back. Triple from Jalea Preston. Mentioned all those players from Texas as Preston from the Houston area. Now in her senior campaign for Keitha Adams, one of the 8 seniors looking for postseason play.
She had 10 points last time that they played, and she's got the green light to shoot it.
Rebound for Wakefield. She'll kick out. Alden looking for her second. That one won't fall. Lozada Cabbage with another rebound.
This looks to be a long-range shooting night. With this passive 2-3 zone both teams are playing, there's going to be plenty of opportunities to shoot the three.
And nice help defense by Lasky, but it's last touch by Tulsa with 10 to shoot here. For the visiting Shockers, Matilda Mossman's going to dip back into her bench as making her debut on this evening for Tulsa. Her first minutes, Addison Richards, the sophomore.
Well, she's percentage-wise the second best three-point shooter they have at 38%, so I'm sure she's going to rock and fire.
She's had limited opportunities, and right now actually just trying to get that right tire fixed as she had slipped out of her shoe. Finds the open shooter, and it's a good one. Wakefield able to connect. Her first triple is good on the night. Last time you and I saw the senior went off for a career high less than a week ago, eclipsing 1,000 career points, and now headed back to the free throw line. Try to cut this deficit in half.
Well, that's what's neat about her. She goes inside and out.
The senior will head to the charity stripe when we return to Tulsa, midway through the second.
Power comes in all forms.
Power is a big tackle,
a big save,
a clutch hit.
And a game-winning shot.
Power is also standing up for what is right.
Power is respecting an opponent, officials,
Student athletes, coaches, and team representatives.
Power is not tolerating racial or ethnic comments,
profanities, or other improper actions
while at the game.
The American.
Power.
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 Power for life.
Don't miss the chance to see your team cut down the nets at the American Athletic Conference Men's Basketball Championship. All the excitement of tournament basketball starts March 8th and runs to the 11th at the Amway Center in Orlando. For tickets, call the Amway Center box office or visit theamerican.org for more information.
Take a look in the huddle of Tulsa right now, trailing by 4 midway through the second quarter here on the American Digital Network. We've enjoyed being with you throughout conference play here on the ADN, and looking to go out in style. Both teams producing 4 3-pointers early on.
Well, they've been rocking and firing, and that's what both teams want to do, just shoot from three. The 2-3 zone's fairly passive, not really shifting very strong, so they're allowing that shot. It's just which team's going to catch fire is going to be the one that's going to win it.
You know, we talk about postseason play, and Wichita State, they know that they will not have a first-round bye in the conference tournament, but this would be a big win. This would move them to 14-16 overall after a slow start in non-conference play. And the issue there is with the WNIT, you can't have a losing record. A win tonight means that with a round 1 victory on Saturday in the conference tournament, if they could steal another victory, they could possibly be in the conversation of getting in.
Well, better believe she's thinking about that. Anytime she could have extra time with her team, she's going to want it. So, yes, you're 100% correct, and that's why they're not thought of right now in the WNIT look, but I think they still have a chance.
And part of that is just, again, that tough schedule in non-conference play. That's not going to earn you points unless you had some victories along the way. This was a team that struggled entering conference, started off 0-3 in conference before all of a sudden it all clicked. And the future is bright for Keitha Adams heading into year 2 next year.
I think one of the things that the conference office is really wanting, like teams like UCF that have had such great years, maybe to up their schedule a little bit more in the preseason. They didn't play enough, highly ranked teams, and they got to get their RPIs up higher.
But with that said, credit to Coach Abe at UCF. They had 12 teams on their schedule this year that were last year either in the NCAA or WNIT, and they have performed well, especially here in crunch time in conference play. One more free throw coming up for one of our 2 seniors tonight.
Well, you can't say enough about Erica Wakefield. She's prototype of what you'd want a kid to be in her 4 years of college basketball. She leads by example. She doesn't tell people what to do. She just does it herself, and she's just a great kid.
She brings Tulsa back within a pair. Bassard turnaround on the left elbow. It'll dance around. And an offensive rebound by Lozada Cabbage as nobody blocks her out. Tulsa briefly led this ball game when it was 3-2, but ever since then they've been trying to catch up to the visiting Shockers, who are trying to split the regular season series this year. Yeah, quick dish out to the perimeter. Another offensive rebound. No, ma'am. That one swatted with authority by Butler out of play. It'll stay with the Shockers, though.
Well, that's a great block by Butler, and it was a great offensive rebound, too, by Wichita State.
Replay confirms the Butler did it.
Wichita does a good job of rebounding the ball on the weak side of their out-of-bounds plays. They know exactly who's going to take the shot and where they need to be.
Shug Dixon now back on, has only played 5 minutes so far today with a couple points to show for it. That's your leading scorer this year for Tulsa in limited action. Bassard trying to get other teammates involved. Right back in to Ranji. Nicely run. A little two-Shocker game there with Preston.
I'm kind of surprised that Shug hasn't been in there as much tonight. I think she has a lot more game to go in her tool house, but she needs to go to the rebounds more. I think she can get more active on the offense. There's so much more she's capable of doing. She's actually one of the best rebounders, but she could be probably getting a double-double if she wanted one.
See Ranji Bassard, when she thinks she notices things, going over to that coaching staff, including to associate head coach Ava Laskowska, who has been with Keith Adams now for much of her tenure as a head coach since she coached Ava at Independence Junior College. And another feed and another block by Butler. Long three, and ultimately Bassard will catch it with 8 to shoot. And that shot clock still winding down. A tie-up called with 3 seconds left. Ambrosio falls on it and may have taken a pop. Possession arrow will favor Tulsa. Otherwise, Wichita State would have only had 3 seconds to shoot.
Well, right now in the rebound category, 21-11 for Wichita State. So I think Tulsa needs to get a little bit more active on the boards. Their guards, their big guards, need to be getting a few more. They need to follow the shot and attack the glass a little more to get some offensive rebounds.
Almost half of those rebounds for Wichita State have been on the offensive end.
See, there's no one going.
And Bassard with an easy rebound. Already her 4th of the ball game. Lozada Cabbage has 6 in this one, and another 2 points for Diamond Lockhart.
Diamond Lockhart has been looking really good. She's so much surpassed what she did last year, and she's probably doubled up on everything.
Tulsa looking for more points on the bench. How about 3 free throws coming up for Richards?
Well, she's one that has a mark on her that you need to cover her from three-point range because of her percentages, and they got out on her, but just a little too late.
Yeah, Sabrina Lozada Cabbage is making the mistake here of fouling the three-point shooter. First foul on Sabrina.
All the coaches are pulling all the stops out now, bringing out kids that haven't had as many minutes to try to see if they can make something happen here.
And Richards able to make all 3 for her first 3 points.
Either team is shooting extremely well here in the 30 percentile range.
Dixon with the steal, going against 3 Shockers and trying to get her own rebound. They hit the deck, tied up. This one back over to Wichita State.
See, Shug went out, and she went against that defense, but she shot around him. Instead of going into him and drawing the foul like she should have, she double pumped around them and missed the shot. So I like to see her be a little bit more physical on that.
Coach Mossman's seen Tulsa go on about a 2.5-minute drought right now, and yet it's still, talking about from the floor, still trailing by only 3. Bessard from 17, good.
It's surprising for a girl her size just to grab it and shoot that with such confidence. She really does have a lot of confidence. Even though her three-point shot is not percentage-wise look that good, she had 3 in the last game.
Angie Bessard averaging almost 20 points a ball game, already in double figures with 10 here in the first half. And that time breaks up a play into the post. Tulsa still with 18 to shoot. They were looking for Richard last time, really getting her involved early on in this one. Right now she's on the perimeter at the top of your screen, now making a cut inside. And again, Bessard's responsible for Richard, and Richard's found ways to get good looks.
Well, I like the movement by Richards. I mean, she actually came to the ball and saw that Bessard was sleeping.
Made one from there a moment ago. Tompkins with the rebound. Lozada Cabbage from the wing.
Well, Tompkins just got it to Cabbage, and she didn't bring it down and just fired it up. They really need to start finding Wichita State and getting them off the boards because it's killing them.
24-11 your margin on the rebounds for Wichita State. Again, 10 offensive boards. That's a long 2 for Richards. Had her right foot on the line.
I think Coach Mossman might have found a little bit of help here. Their offense has been struggling, and Richardson doesn't seem like she has a problem shooting it.
Final minute of the opening half. Inside to Bessard, looking for points 11 and 12, and she'll commit the silly foul.
Yeah, that's not what you want her to do here late in the half.
That's just her first. It sends us the other way. As Richards a moment ago. And Addison Richards, the sophomore.
Pearland, Texas, that's where she's from.
That's just south of Houston.
Tulsa does a lot of individual dribbling.
How about that? Splitting a couple of defenders and winding up with a much better look than you would expect. Lasky now with 4 points here in the half.
I think with the purpose, it's good. Nat had a purpose, and she went right to the rack, so great shot.
Final half minute. Wichita State just hanging on to a 1-point lead. Richards denying the baseline, keeps a hand in the face. Bessard the offensive rebound and put back, and perhaps that moment right there summed it up, and I think they may have just waved off the basket, saying no, foul was on the floor.
Yeah, but it sums it up in the sense that they're just going after that rebound harder and stronger than Tulsa is. They're just hard to box out.
So, again, not a three-point opportunity here, and now not even a two-point opportunity.
One of the things Coach Mossman said her young team is having problems with is boxing out, actually getting a body and boxing out, and then having good help side on defense. The help side has been better defensively. It's just been a little them boxing out on offense. Everybody has to get someone.
Mossman has seen Bessard now score 11 in this first half. Can the Shockers add more? This, a sprint to beat the clock. And that was a couple of points that Wichita State should have never had a chance to add on to their lead. Instead, it'll be a 4-point advantage. As we'll have a chance here to check in with Keitha Adams before heading into the locker room. But Wichita State doing just about everything you could ask for defensively, rebounding-wise, in those final 30 seconds.
Yeah, and it's only a 4-point game, so as bad as it looked at times for Tulsa, they're still in it. I mean, they really haven't had any great runs.
Let's check back in with Bruce, says he has the head Shocker.
Coach, you have the halftime lead. You said rebounding would be so important. You really dominated the boards, didn't you?
Well, rebound's important, but I think one of the things, we've got to have a lot better tempo. I think the tempo was probably like Tulsa wanted it. We got to change the tempo the second half.
Rangy Bessard had a really good half for you, didn't she?
Well, she hit some shots. I'm going to push her into halftime to play more defense the second half, but she hit some big shots. But we got to change the tempo. We got to pick it up a lot.
Okay, Coach, good luck.
All right, thanks.
Keith Adams, the head coach at Wichita State.
Keith Adams, though, happy that Randy Bassard able to bounce back after being rolled up in that first half. Again, Bassard, 11 first-half points. Wichita State takes the 4-point lead to the break. We have reached halftime here on the American Digital Network.
7,000 student athletes rising to become champions in 21 different sports at 13 esteemed institutions across 11 states. 360,000 students and 2.6 million alumni rise up in celebration of a Power 6 conference known as the American.
Hope you're enjoying the President's Day holiday, and welcome into the ADN studio for an all-new episode of The Rise. I'm Haley Outen. It's time to take a look at who takes home the conference's top accolades for their standout performances on the hardwood this past week. On the men's side, what a week it was across the conference. Taking home this week's top honor is Wichita State forward Shaquille Morris. Morris led the Shockers to a 2-0 week, positioning his team within one game of first place. Wichita State essentially controlling their own destiny at this point in the season. Thursday, Morris's 23-point, 13-rebound effort carried the Shockers past Temple before he stuffed the box score with 13 points, 3 rebounds, 2 blocks, and 2 steals in a win over number 5 Cincinnati, snapping the nation's longest home court winning streak. Rookie of the Week honors went out to ECU's Sean Williams for the 4th time this year, tying for the most in a season in conference history. In a 1-1 week for ECU, Williams averaged over 27 points, going a combined 13 of 19 from three-point range. Williams hit all 6 of his three-point attempts, finishing with 29 points in the Pirates' win at Tulane before knocking down 7 threes against UConn en route to a 26-point effort. A handful of other players had impressive performances as well. Here's a look at this week's American Honor Roll. On the women's side, UConn guard Katie Lou Samuelson takes home this week's top honor. The junior averaged over 26 points in 2 wins for the top-ranked Huskies last week. Against Louisville, Samuelson led all scorers with 26 points. On Saturday against the Owls, she registered 27 while dishing out 5 assists. Meanwhile, Freshman of the Week honors went to Temple's Amani Mayo. This is the first conference accolade for the freshman, who averaged 16 points, 2.5 rebounds, and 2.5 assists for the Owls last week. She put forth 15 points at Wichita State on Saturday, snagging 4 rebounds before leading the Owls at UConn on Sunday with 17 points. And here's a look at the performances that received recognition on this week's Conference Honor Roll. Thanks for joining us today on The Rise. Hope you have a great rest of your week.
Wichita State University is Shocker Nation. We exceed expectations, push boundaries, seize opportunities, and move boldly ahead. We are student-centered and innovation-driven. It's who we are. Our vision is simple but powerful. Create, innovate, collaborate, and celebrate. With one unifying purpose: to shock the world.
Don't miss the chance to see your team cut down the nets at the American Athletic Conference Men's Basketball Championship. All the excitement of tournament basketball starts March 8th and runs to the 11th at the Amway Center in Orlando. For tickets, call the Amway Center box office or visit theamerican.org for more information.
To be honest, I think this team stands out. Just the chemistry that we have, the love that we have for each other. We're like really close, so I like that. I don't think it's hit me quite yet. I don't really know how to feel about it. I don't know. It's kind of bittersweet. I mean, I'll be done, but then I'm going to miss my teammates, so I don't really know yet.
The thing about Erica, she's not flashy, she doesn't do the spectacular things, but wow, she's so consistent. She's just consistent from the day one of her freshman year to now, day in and day out. She's a model of consistency. Our players trust her, our staff trust her. So to me, if she could be on one of those all-conference teams at the end of the season, I think that would be a great reward for her.
Last year we kind of struggled finishing games, so hopefully this year we can pull some out, and it's just going to take that extra effort, extra fight to pull those out. I think it's been nice to have the same coach for all 4 years. Not everyone gets to have that luxury. Also, Coach is she's a really cool person, very nice. She's good on and off the court. Off the court, she can be your friend, someone you can go to if you need help. So I think it's been good. I want people to just remember my leadership, especially my teammates, kind of just to continue the legacy of being excellent.
I'm Kirk Smith, and this is my story. I'm a captain of TU's track and cross country teams, and I'm a Rhodes Scholar. My life's pretty simple. I run, I work, and then I run some more. My research focuses on combating climate change by driving down the cost of energy storage. And that's my story, so far.
Power comes in all forms. Power is a big tackle,
A big save.
a clutch hit.
And a game-winning shot.
Power is also standing up for what is right.
Power is respecting an opponent, officials,
Student athletes, coaches, and team representatives.
Power is not tolerating racial or ethnic comments.
Profanities or other improper actions.
While at the game.
Be American.
Power.
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 Power for life.
Oh, that ball is hit deep. Left field. Way back. That ball is gone.
Double play ball potentially Schreitenthal's over to first. In time, double play, and that ends the game.
Underway from the American. Don't miss the chance to see your team cut down the nets March 3rd to the 6th. Call the Mohegan Sun Arena or visit us online to purchase tickets today.
7,000 student athletes rising to become champions in 21 different sports at 13 esteemed institutions across 11 states. 360,000 students and 2.6 million alumni rise up in celebration of a Power 6 conference known as the American.
Wichita State University is Shocker Nation. We exceed expectations, push boundaries, seize opportunities, and move boldly ahead. We are student-centered and innovation-driven. It's who we are. Our vision is simple but powerful. Create, innovate, collaborate, and celebrate. With one unifying purpose: to shock the world.
I'm Kirk Smith, and this is my story. I'm a captain of TU's track and cross country teams, and I'm a Rhodes Scholar. My life's pretty simple. I run, I work, and then I run some more. My research focuses on combating climate change by driving down the cost of energy storage. And that's my story so far.
Power comes in all forms. Power is a big tackle,
A big save.
a clutch hit.
And a game-winning shot.
Power is also standing up for what is right.
Power is respecting an opponent, officials,
Student athletes, coaches, and team representatives.
Power is not tolerating racial or ethnic comments.
Profanities or other improper actions.
While at the game.
The American.
Power.
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 Power for life.
Halftime in Tulsa, final game of the regular season slate in the American, as Wichita State with a 4-point lead back inside Reynolds Center. Lincoln Rose along with Coach Angela Beck. And when we take a look at that first half, a tight one back and forth. But right now, Wichita State, any struggles they may have shooting, they're making up for with their ability to go get the ball and score in the paint.
Well, they had 18 points in the paint compared to 4 for Tulsa. And there were some long-range shots early on from a few different individuals, but generally they're just getting in the paint. They're coming down off transition and they're pounding it into Bassard in the post.
Well, you talk about Ranji Bassard. She's leading the way with 11 points there in that first half. Matilda Mossman, she's been keeping a trick up her sleeve. Of course, you wait to the last game. You work in Richards to play about 5 minutes. She's got 7 points for you, but you look at your first half stats, what stands out to you?
Obviously rebounding, points in the paint. Those two things, they've got to stop them. They have to get them off the boards, and they have to do a better job of shoring up the inside.
Well, as I was alluding to, Ranji Bassard and, of course, Addison Richards. Richards in just 5 minutes producing more points than any other Golden Hurricane here tonight. Bassard putting up typical numbers.
I just like to see some passion and some fight here in the second half. It seems she talked a little bit about tempo. We need to turn this up. This is for the seniors. This is the last game of the year. I'd like to see a lot more than what I'm seeing right now.
We had a chance to hear from Keitha Adams and the Shockers before the break. When we come back before the start of the second half, we'll look to check in with Matilda Mossman and Tulsa.
7,000 student athletes rising to become champions in 21 different sports at 13 esteemed institutions across 11 states. 360,000 students and 2.6 million alumni rise up in celebration of a Power 6 conference known as the American.
Underway from the American. Don't miss the chance to see your team cut down the nets March 3rd to the 6th. Call the Mohegan Sun Arena or visit us online to purchase tickets today.
And again, the Tulsa fans coming out for Senior Day, looking to cheer on the 2 seniors for Tulsa in their final home game. Well, here on the American Digital Network, we were in Birmingham this past weekend for the Indoor Track and Field Championships. The next time we will crown a champion, of course, will be in women's basketball in March. But after that, the spring sports. It'll be outdoors for golf, tennis, as well as softball, baseball, and outdoor track and field season. Congratulations to Cincinnati and Houston, your women and men, for the indoor titles. Let's check back in with Bruce. He's with Matilda Mossman of Tulsa.
Coach, you were worried about their inside presence. They scored. You were worried about rebounding. They out-rebound you. You look at the scoreboard, you're only down by 4. How'd that happen?
Well, I think our kids just battled and did some things. You know, we got some stops too. They did, their bigs did score, but we got enough stops, enough steals. The only thing that hurt us right now is our turnovers, and they're scoring against our turnovers.
And Addison Richards gives you a boost.
She did, so she gets to start this half.
All right, good luck.
All right, thank you.
Matilda Mossman, University of Tulsa head women's basketball coach.
Nobody's better at breaking bad news than Bruce Howard.
Yeah, exactly.
If I'm ever in the hospital, I don't want the doctor telling me the diagnosis. I want him. But no, he's absolutely right. This is a 4-point ball game with a full half to play.
And she seemed pretty, satisfied with where they're at. Obviously, if you're 4 points down, you got a chance. and it's a tight game. It's a little bit lackluster. There's nobody that's really, has that fire in their eyes from either team to take this game over. I would say if anybody's close, it'd probably be rangy inside, but other than that, it's anybody's game.
There's your second half adjustment right there. Addison Richards played just 5 minutes in the first half, made both her field goals, made all 3 of her free throws, 7 points to lead the way for Tulsa. And a miss early on that would have cut the deficit in half. Let's see if Wichita State can continue to build on a nice finish there at the end of the first half. Bessard, tad strong, but guess who gets the rebound? It's Richards. So Tulsa actually outscored Wichita State in that second quarter, 21-19, and they get the first 2 points here in the third.
Well, I like that take by Shug. That's what I want from her, is to get more aggressive in the game.
Bessard trying to establish herself in the post. Nice first move. Polk makes up for it with the block shot and then the rebound.
That's a double defensive effort for her.
And an open 3 on the opposite end. Golden comes through for her second triple.
That's the way to get back in it and take it over. 2 quick shots.
Just like that, Tulsa has its first lead since it was a 3-2 ball game to begin here in the Reynolds Center. And another rebound for Polk.
Well, Polk's doing a good job of commanding the defensive glass there.
Chance for Tulsa to build on its advantage. And a walk. Just too much going through the mind there for Richards. Do I pull the 3 or look for a better look? And in between the footsteps.
I'm going to give you the answer. You pull the 3. You catch and shoot.
Well, she hasn't missed a shot all day, so of course you do a little heat check.
Well, I'm a statistician in my mind.
Lobbed into Tompkins, and well, both Polk and Richards are there holding their ground. And quickly the other way in transition, and getting her own rebound again to senior Wakefield, and she's determined. They say no basket, a double dribble.
That's a good call. I was wondering if he would see that, but yeah, she caught it, took the dribble, and then took another dribble after she picked up her original dribble.
The fans were ready to erupt, thinking that she would have a chance for a 3-point play, but they again wave off the 2.
Well, I think this is exactly what Wichita State doesn't want to do, is come out here a little bit flat, let them get their couple shots in, and then make this a game on the road with a team that's last in the league. It's because they have nothing to lose.
And give Lozada Cabbage the assist. She's able to dial up her open teammate, Diamond Lockhart. And Polk goes down in transition and gets 2 right back.
That's impressive. It's a transition bucket, and that's enough for Keith Adams to call a timeout and say, let's have a little talk here.
Shockers want to tap the brakes. It's a brand new ball game at 36 points apiece in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Step aside here on ADN, 36-36.
Oh, that ball is hit deep. Left field. Way back. That ball is gone. Double play ball potentially. Schreitenthal's over to first. In time. Double play, and that ends the game.
miss the chance to see your team cut down the nets at the American Athletic Conference Men's Basketball Championship. All the excitement of tournament basketball starts March 8th and runs to the 11th at the Amway Center in Orlando. For tickets, call the Amway Center box office or visit theamerican.org for more information.
Keith Adams and the Shockers on the road tonight before everybody moves on to Connecticut for the conference tournament starting Saturday in the first round. Take a look at your conference standings. Now, this was coming into today. We can confirm moments ago, UConn beats USF. UConn completes another perfect run through conference play, and of course 29-0 overall, your number one team in the nation. USF will hang on to the 2 seed with a 13-3 mark. Houston moments ago falls to Cincinnati in Ohio, and so Ronald Huey's squad still looking for that 21st victory, but that means Cincinnati is your number 4 seed in that conference tournament. Houston will have to play on day 1.
Well, that's interesting. I think both teams are probably okay with the end result. I think Houston, he's fine taking another game early with his young team.
Bearcats go 10-6. Congratulations to Jamel Elliott's squad. And of course, they've been playing away from their home arena all year. Same can be said for Houston.
Well, Wichita State lost in December, on December 30th to Tulsa. They shot a dismal 38%. Right now they're shooting 36%, and it's dismal. So they need to start shooting the ball better and playing a little better defense because they're pretty unemotional in this contest.
Well, we mentioned as well, that continues the storyline. Tulsa won that game because of contributions off of the bench. It's the case again here tonight. Richards has given them a lead now.
Well, I think you're exactly right. Their benches come to play. Now they're starting to show a lot more emotion, which is, Wichita's still kind of settling in. I mean, they're obviously have more wins under their belt, but when you play somebody on anybody's home court in this league, it's a tough night. Now they're coming out and pressing.
Addison Richards didn't even play in that victory against Wichita State back on December 30th. And the senior just off the mark there.
That press got him doing a couple things they didn't want to do quite so early. Not a bad move.
And Bassard will lose it, and that's Polk holding her ground in the post.
Polk's played some good minutes tonight. She's really played strong inside and made some things happen and controlled the boards.
And fighting for the rebound, Lozada Cabbage will come up with it. So Wichita State still has not trailed by more than 2 points in this ball game. That was a few moments ago.
Polk gets a little bit of rest, and Kendron Elliott comes in the game. Wichita's had a couple unforced errors of their own here, and this press that they've thrown on them, Tulsa has been effective so far.
And Tulsa just holds their ground. Unable to take advantage of the numbers as Gaulden, a threat from beyond the arc. And second chance points, not this time. But Richards gets the rebound. Among 3 Shockers, Addison Richards already a career night with 9 points, topping her previous career high a couple years ago.
That's a good way to get the rebounding total back to get 3 in one session there.
She had scored 12 points all year, has 9 points this evening, and another rebound there a moment ago. And somehow that one goes through the wickets. Lozada Cabbage had seen enough. Thought she had blocked the shot, but instead free throws coming up for Kendron Elliott.
That was good hustle by Shook that time, and Shook's got a lot left in that tank.
Halfway through the third, 38-38 in Tulsa. Final night in the American.
7,000 student athletes rising to become champions in 21 different sports at 13 esteemed institutions across 11 states. 360,000 students and 2.6 million alumni rise up in celebration of a Power 6 conference known as the American.
Power comes in all forms. Power is a big tackle,
A big save.
a clutch hit.
And a game-winning shot.
Power is also standing up for what is right.
Power is respecting an opponent, officials,
Student athletes, coaches, and team representatives.
Power is not tolerating racial or ethnic comments.
Profanities or other improper actions.
While at the game.
The American.
Power.
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 Power for life.
Well, Keitha Adams knows her 8 seniors. These Shockers are in for a fight, their final regular season game before the conference tournament. And they want to be able to leave with another victory here in Tulsa. But the battle back and forth, it's come down to points in the paint early on.
Well, it's been mainly Rangy Bessard, but they've had some nice drives by the guards. Obviously, then you have Diamond Lockhart, and I think she's been a big reason why they've been effective. She's been able to penetrate and dish to several players just like that.
Diamond's second leading scorer for Wichita State with 7 behind Bessard's 13. Rangy's also added 7 rebounds along the way. As you see, she's in the huddle with Sabrina Lozada-Cabbage and company. And we'll see how they respond. Their defense has held Tulsa to 0 of 5, their last 5 attempts from the floor. The problem is Wichita State's had 3 turnovers in the last minute and a half.
Yeah, it seems like they're turning the ball over uncharacteristically. Not something that I've seen that much from him. I mean, I've seen him several times this year, so still a little bit sloppy.
Well, we will note that Wichita State moments ago, even before their game has gone final, they have locked up the 6th seed. ECU falls tonight in Orlando against UCF. Again, Coach Abe now has a 20-win program over there in year number 2, as they are your number 3 seed. They already knew that coming into today. And that's a UCF team that in their last 9 days have played 4 games, all victories, to lock up that 3 seed.
We've seen several of those, and they've been hard-fought games. None of them have been that easy, but her team has played like warriors. They played extremely tough, and they deserve to be where they're at. We haven't seen much of Rangy here late.
Oh, nice body control getting up, and it's Kiki Thompson.
Well, that's a good dish down to Kiki. That's fire and ice happening right in front of our eyes.
We spoke to Keitha Adams early in January. She said she needed Kiki to be more aggressive than she had in the past, and the senior has responded. Richards, will note, has not missed a shot tonight. Doesn't take one there a moment ago, and a foul will extend this possession for Tulsa.
That was good action by Alexis Baldwin. She just used that punch dribble, hesitation, and drew the foul.
Well, I believe all other games now have gone final here in the American, as this is your final contest between 2 teams that also opened up the slate back on December 30th. And it'll continue to stay on this end with Tulsa moments ago. Memphis 5 points better than Temple.
Well, Shug got a little bailed out on that dribble possession.
Little step back from 16 is good. And that's another pair for Alexis Galden.
That was a nice looking shot. She's playing pretty tough right now.
And Lozada-Cabbage will reclaim the lead for Wichita State. A back and forth ball game to close out the conference schedule here in Tulsa. And finally able to beat the press. And Ranji Bassard didn't even have to leave her feet. Extra touch, open three, good for the Shockers. Diamond Lockhart.
That was a good transition on Wichita State's part. Good defense. Ball didn't hit the ground.
Shockers have made their last 4 shots from the floor, make it 5 of 5.
Lockhart looks very impressive in this series.
And all of a sudden, Wichita State back to a 6-point lead. Timeout, Matilda Mossman in Tulsa with 3 to go here in the third.
That's what I'm talking about, turning up the heat. Someone's got to turn it up. And there they turned it up for 2 or 3 series in a row. Rangy inside, little touch pass from the top. Down low to Lockhart. And then another.
We are underway from the American.
Don't miss the chance to see your team cut down the nets March 3rd to the 6th. Call the Mohegan Sun Arena or visit us online to purchase tickets today.
Well, it's been a 7-0 run for Wichita State in the last minute, and that has helped establish a 6-point advantage for the Shockers.
We were kind of waiting on when someone would make a run, and that's really one of the first big runs of the game. It's just been kind of back and forth. That 1-2-2 press that they've been running has been pretty effective.
That's just the 6th point today for Wakefield, who's 1 of 6 from the floor. She's made all 3 of her free throws so far. Your difference in this ball game really is that first quarter, Wichita State outscored Tulsa by 6. Since then, it has been fairly even. Tulsa's even been able to shed a point off of that. And a couple free throws now coming up for Angie Tompkins. And I misspeak. That is Ambrosio from Switzerland, the junior.
Well, she's one of the best three-point shooters, so they're trying to run her off the line, and she took it to the hole, but didn't have much on it.
Cesaria just 2 points, limited shots taken in this ball game. Adds a third there, 5-point lead for Keitha Adams' Shockers.
Ambrosio is really used for that front of the press. That's what coach uses her for, is her defense, her athletic ability.
Oh, nice job sucking in the defender. A dime for Wakefield, and she sets up Elliott. Again, Wichita State technically has made their last 5 shots, and there's their first miss in a while. The offensive rebound, though, will send Bassard to the line.
Bassard got that rebound and put it up really quickly, and it just drew the foul. That shows how crafty that she is. She's working for position here. She got quick ups, and then right back up. Doesn't matter if she's even close. She's going to try to draw it.
14th point for Bassard. To go with 8 rebounds tonight.
Keith Adams talked about going to Wichita State and being around so many great coaches like Chris Lamb, the volleyball coach, and Greg Marshall, the football coach, men's basketball coach, and just how much she could get knowledge off them and what they know. And she said that's one reason their shooting percentage usually is better, because she's kind of learned how to chart things differently, kind of similar to what the volleyball team does.
Bassard contesting that shot. It'll stay with them. Yeah, when Keith Adams took the job, there were a lot of schools over the years that tried to lure her away from her successful tenure at UTEP when she led the Miners twice to the NCAA tournament, a couple of WNIT runs. Most recently was Conference USA Head Coach of the Year just 2 years ago. But it was a homecoming opportunity to return to Kansas and Wichita State that finally did it. And you may have noticed during her interview there with Bruce earlier, has that sunflower pin on her jacket back in the Sunflower State, potentially to close out her career. Tompkins maintain that pivot foot, just can't add 2 more to the lead. Richards is still your leading scorer for Tulsa. She's off the floor right now. Galden has 8 points tonight. Wakefield was 7.
Wakefield's had a tough time shooting. She's 1 of 7 right now. That was usually a shot that she makes.
And meanwhile, another solid night from Diamond Lockhart.
Diamond Lockhart is looking extremely smooth.
14 points now.
She's been hitting all the mid-range jumpers.
And the Shockers are literally just throwing bodies at the ball and will force a turnover.
Both teams have switched to a man-to-man, which is, I think, sped up the tempo of the game.
Now loose ball, Lockhart has it. Inside Tompkins, and that pass put her in position to spin around the defender, and the foul will give her a chance to shoot a free throw.
Well, that's the ice in the veins that we were talking about. You know, coach thinks that she's mentally somebody that her game has really come along, and she's been really pleased with how confident she's become on her shooting. She actually said one time she wasn't really feeling the ball much with her hand. She didn't feel like her hand was feeling the ball, so she had to put a glove on her hand and take several shots. Then she took the glove off her hand, and she felt like her shooting touch got a lot better because she wasn't really feeling her hand on the ball.
We'll note that makes it 55-45. A 10-point lead here for the Shockers. And a little 7-0 run for Wichita State once again.
I think they're much better defensively when they put Tompkins on the front of that press.
Final seconds. And we are headed on to the fourth quarter. Shockers outscored Tulsa 22-16 in that third frame to take a double-digit advantage into the final period of regulation. Final game of the American schedule. All others final tonight. Wichita State will be your 6th seed this weekend, looking to carry a victory into the tournament.
Oh, that ball is hit deep. Left field. Way back. That ball is gone. Double play ball potentially Schreitenthal's over to first. In time. Double play, and that ends the game.
Welcome back here on the American Digital Network, as right now here in the fourth quarter, Wichita State with a 10-point lead. And Wichita State just trying to continue what has been a memorable finish here in conference play. For more on that, let's check back in with Bruce Howard courtside.
Well, guys, you think about where these two programs were in context of this season. After the earlier meeting, back on December 30th, Tulsa won the game 67-62. Tulsa's record was 7-7, 1-0 in the American. Wichita State's record was 5-10, 0-1 in the American. And look what's happened since then. Tulsa's lost 12 of 14. Wichita State has won 8 of 14, including 8 of the last 12. And Angela referenced this earlier. After the UCF game, Keitha Adams sat down with the team, started talking with them, started saying things like, what are you playing for? Who are you playing for? Play with pride. Go get it. And all of a sudden, those 3 words, as you guys have referenced, became the mantra for this Wichita State team. So much so that people are wearing T-shirts. There's actually a warm-up jersey that Wichita State uses. It says, go get them, go get it. And it means so many things on different levels. Go get a rebound. Go get the loose ball. Go get the win. Just go get it. And it's been big for Wichita State this year.
Thank you, Bruce. And, well, as entertaining as this matchup has been, as tight as it had been, I've got news for you. These two are likely going to be your opener in the conference tournament on Saturday. That's the 6 versus 11 seed matchup with Temple losing today. Tulsa, I don't believe, can fall to the 12 seed, so it would be the 6-11 matchup. It would be a rematch right here.
Well, that makes it even more interesting. I think they're going to know each other well enough, but I always like it when you can bring a surprise to the table in the tournament. I think you know, when you can catch somebody off guard, you have a chance to maybe get 2 or 3 runs out of them that they can't follow.
A steal from Lasky. Wichita State came into today unable to help their cause in terms of climbing up the standings, but they could have dropped a seed. But with ECU's loss, Wichita State is locked in as the 6th seed. Tulsa and Temple were both the bottom 2 in the conference standings coming into today. And with Temple falling, I believe Tulsa has the tiebreaker, again, which would set up now the inevitable rematch between this pair. A couple of teams that, at the moment, it would appear they would split with the visiting team winning each matchup, but Tulsa still with almost 9 minutes to come back. And a bump from Lozada Cabbage. Nice job by Lasky, at the very least, selling that. There you see the standings coming into today, where Temple and Tulsa were both sitting at 3 and 12. Temple now 3 and 13 to close out conference. Wichita State at best could be 9 and 7. ECU is 7 and 9. And so, again, Wichita State is locked into that 6th seed. Cincinnati did top Houston to take over that final day off as the number 4 seed. Richards still has not missed a shot as she runs to the top of the key. Wakefield gets the loose ball, but underneath the rim.
Yeah, that makes her 1 of 9 so far tonight. It's been an unfortunate night so far, but she's capable of turning it up.
Rangy Bassard's now a rebound away from a double-double. Bassard's scoring has slowed down, just 4 points here in the second half after 11 points at halftime. Tompkins, a little baseline access, didn't need much. She has 8 points now to go with her 5 boards. Wichita State has all 4 of the points here in the fourth quarter, and there's your first miss from Addison Richards today.
It looked good going. Looked like she had everything she needed on it, but just didn't fall.
And the Shockers can now build on their best lead of the night, up by 14.
Yeah, Tulsa needs to find a way to make a couple stops here. They can't trade buckets or let them have a bucket. They've been getting it inside pretty much at will.
Yeah, three-pointer ultimately off the mark, off the front of the iron from Preston. Sucked in a pair of defenders and still found a way to get that one up off the glass. 2 more for Wakefield. She has 9.
Well, when it's not falling, that's what you need to do, is just take it to the rack.
She and Richards now tied for the team high. Richards has been a little more efficient with her scoring as she helps hold her ground, doubling up with Butler, defending Rangy Bassard. Well, we came into today knowing the top 3 seeds, UConn perfect through conference play, and that continued today with a top 25 clash against USF. They essentially hosting in their backyard of Connecticut, though it won't be in Stores. It'll be over at Mohegan Sun Arena. Expect a great crowd cheering on some of the best women's basketball in the country. And Wakefield now in double figures here on her senior day.
Well, good rebound and put back. She has 6 rebounds, 4 assists. So she's trying to do it all for him.
Broussard trying to work it into Tompkins, deflected one. And I'll correct myself in terms of the tiebreaker. Temple owns the tiebreaker with Tulsa. So Tulsa needs a win here to be the 11. So this could very well be Shockers and Owls opening up the conference tournament. We know Wichita State will be playing in that first game regardless.
Well, it's an 8-point game now. Tulsa's made a couple stops that they've needed. Now they need to get another one, just and limit them to 1.
If Tulsa cannot come back here, despite the 6-0 run right now as the 12th seed, they would face Houston in the evening matchup on Friday.
Looks like they're going to run a set here. Quick hit.
I say Friday, obviously Saturday. A little leaner, won't go. Tompkins with the rebound. Well, Tulsa's cut into this deficit, trailed by as many as 14. Right now within 8, needing another stop. Oh, nice rotation. Lozada Cabbage, though, can't make them pay with that 3.
Tulsa's done a nice job of keeping the ball out of the interior. Of course, you got Rangy Broussard taking a rest on the bench right now.
We step aside here midway in the 4th. Matilda Mossman's Golden Hurricane women's basketball program trying to complete a comeback here on Senior Day.
Wichita State University is Shocker Nation. We exceed expectations, push boundaries, seize opportunities, and move boldly ahead. We are student-centered and innovation-driven. It's who we are. Our vision is simple but powerful. Create, innovate, collaborate, and celebrate. With one unifying purpose: to shock the world.
I'm Kirk Smith, and this is my story. I'm a captain of TU's track and cross country teams, and I'm a Rhodes Scholar. My life's pretty simple. I run, I work, and then I run some more. My research focuses on combating climate change by driving down the cost of energy storage. And that's my story, so far.
We are underway from the American.
Don't miss the chance to see your team cut down the nets March 3rd to the 6th. Call the Mohegan Sun Arena or visit us online to purchase tickets today.
Well, Tulsa enjoying a 6-0 run here in the 4th quarter to cut into a 14-point deficit, as Wichita State has gone cold for the past 3 minutes, in part because of the defense of the Golden Hurricane.
Looks like we've got a professional dancer in the stands.
Yeah, giving Bruce Howard a run for his money in Tulsa.
Definitely. Well, Keitha Adams is, they say, 3 wins away from the big 300 in her Division I career. Quite an accomplishment for a coach that's been totally dedicated to the school she's been from at UTEP, and taking a chance and going to Wichita and trying to make that her new program.
You would think that likely comes early next year, but if she could find that 300th victory this year, they may very well be in the conversation for the WNIT.
Well, if I have any bets on her, she's gonna do everything within her power to try to do that. I've been really impressed with her this year, and Matilda, Coach Mossman has been a stellar coach in the league for a long time. And, you know, she just had a few more injuries than she's been able to handle this year. But, you know, she's always had a positive attitude and been a player's coach throughout her career. And every time I've talked to her this year, she's been positive. She always sees the positive side of everything. And you have to do that when you have a tough year.
Galden has 12 points and now makes it an 8-0 run over the past couple of minutes for Tulsa. She's your team's leading scorer. And they get right in the face of Bassard, not backing down. Butler with yet another rejection.
Butler's been big on defense, and so has Butler and Crystal Polk inside.
That's Butler's third block. And then a foul on the other end on Ambrosio. Tulsa down by just 2 scores. And they will get a reach-in foul called on Butler.
Bassard seems to be, you know, in that zone of being a little bit irritated right now. Things aren't quite going her way, and hopefully she can get it together enough to make it happen.
Just 4 points this quarter for Wichita State, with about 4 minutes to go in regulation. Inside of Bassard, when in doubt, she gets her own rebound. She has a double-double, but that's not the way she wanted to get it, as Butler again wins the battle. Lasky among 3 shockers. Shot clock still counting down. And finally, Wichita State gets it back. And I say that Lasky has the ball, and she's able to take it away.
Well, if they would have hit that 3, it would have been pretty crazy in here.
Galden in for a closer look. Tried to do a little too much there. Butler not expecting the pass. And they'll call Butler for her third now.
Well, it's good effort.
Again, Wichita State led by as many as 14 here in the second half. But Tulsa right now on an 8-0 run over the last 3.5 minutes to make this interesting, down to just a 2-score ball game.
Yeah, they're doing a great job of keeping it out of the interior. Rangie's had a difficult time. She's actually going outside now, so she can free herself up, and they're going to try to go inside.
And they do go to Tompkins. Butler with another foul, her 4th.
That's pretty crafty, Coach, pulling Rangie outside, putting Tompkins inside her fire and ice, and trying to go in there to her.
Well, Wichita State hasn't had a field goal in the last 5 minutes. They'll try to end a drought at the free throw line. Wichita State again being led by Rangie Bassard, 15 points, 11 rebounds. Sabrina Lozada-Cabbage is a point away from a double-double with her 10 boards and 9 points. And Diamond Lockhart with 14 points of her own. But here is Angie Tompkins with this free throw. Will be 3 rebounds shy of a double-double.
It's always nice when your 2 post players are good free throw shooters. She shoots 78% for the year and has a good-looking free throw shot.
And when you aren't making your shots, it's hard to set up your press. Wichita State, at least there, able to slow Tulsa down a moment. Keith Adams' group up by 8 right now.
Tulsa does better when they get quickly into their offense.
Trying to get past Lockhart. And somehow the senior Wakefield finds points 12 and 13.
Yeah, she can do that pretty much at will.
Back within 6, looking for another stop with 2.5 to play in regulation.
They're allowing a lot of physicality underneath there.
Lasky has it taken away, and now it's a foot race. Lozada Cabbage. How did that one go in?
That's what I'm talking about with her. She is, she's elusive. I mean, that was, she took it out of the air, got the rebound, and just did a little touch shot up there.
11 points, 11 rebounds for number 11. She'll look to make it a dozen with one free throw here.
She's physically strong. She's mentally tough. Coach says IQ-wise, she's one of the smartest basketball players she has on her team. Coming off a knee injury earlier in the year. I think she's really come into her own, and the last few games we've seen them play, she's been a big factor.
9-point lead for Wichita State. Despite the fact that they're just 1 of 9 from the floor, they've had some opportunities that they've been able to take advantage of at the charity stripe. And that time they clamped down on Gaulden. And now there's a dispute as to who touched it last, and I think the initial call will be overruled.
I think Coach Mossman was going to go out there and put her shirt on. She's even laughing right now. She's like, oh, wait. I mean, she was being an official, the 4th official.
Impartial, to say the least.
Yes.
And that one stripped away. And just wanting it more, Scales, who ripped it away from Lozada Cabbage.
I do like Tulsa when their offense is a little quicker like this. I think that they're getting a first shot and sometimes a second shot. And, they're hitting that first shot, and they're getting it off quick penetration.
Richards, one of your stories. She'll kick it out to Gaulden. Rebound by Tompkins, and Tompkins is fouled. Well, we mentioned Rangy Bessard has cooled off scoring, but with her 15 points tonight has already moved to 6th all-time on the Wichita State scoring charts, and that's despite starting her career over at Minnesota. Young lady averaging almost 20 points in this, her final campaign. As she looks on as her teammate Angie Tompkins is at the line. One of 4 starters in double figures tonight for the Shockers.
Yeah, Rangy ranks, like we talked about this a little bit earlier, in the top 30 in 5 offensive categories. Free throws made, total points. She's actually number 1 in the American in total points. Free throw attempts, field goal attempts, and field goals made. So pretty impressive.
A great impact as the Shockers embarked on their first year in the American this season. Trying to hang on to a double-digit advantage for the final minute and a half in Tulsa.
How far away they've got Rangy right now.
They're going to bring the shot clock down. Bessard for 3. And they're going to get Sabrina for a push. That'll be her 4th foul.
Bessard likes to shoot that 3. She has put a few up to this year. She's 9 for 48, but she did hit 3 in a game, so that always changes your opinion of yourself.
Bessard with the steal, lobs it over the top, will be denied the assist. Tompkins will go to the line. She has a chance to make this a 13-point lead. Wichita State is just 1 of their last 10 from the floor, but they are earning opportunities at the line.
Yeah, unfortunately, Tulsa's fouling them. In that situation, I don't know what else they could have done. Besides, they would have given it up, so it's better to make her earn it. But she is a good free throw shooter.
7 of 8 now from the charity stripe tonight for Tompkins. She has 13 points.
Coach putting the senior Parker back in.
Parker's played 7 minutes tonight. Hit that 3-pointer early in the ball game. Gave them a 3-2 lead at the time. As you see, taking the seat is Shug Dixon. And with under a minute to go, 52.6 seconds remaining in Tulsa, Wichita State appears as though they will tack one more victory onto their first go-round through conference play as members of the American. That would put them this year at 9-7. Not bad for a team that started off 0-3.
Well, I think with a new coach, with all the new players, 8 seniors that you've never coached before, they have 2 Division I transfers, one from Minnesota, one from Texas Tech, 3 players that play junior college ball. And I don't know if you've ever coached kids that play junior college ball, but it's different. I mean, it's way different trying to get them into your system. And then 3 kids from foreign countries, one from Sweden, one from Switzerland, one from France. You put them all together, and you have that kind of preseason they had to have. It's tough.
Yeah, you've got the ingredients. You just don't know exactly what you're going to bake with them.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll tell you what, super impressed with how she put it all together, because she made them believe.
Final moments at home for one of the talented seniors. And they're going to stop the clock with 47 seconds to go. An 11-point lead still for Wichita State. As here on Senior Day, Wakefield with 13 points, make it 15 now. To go with 7 rebounds and 4 assists.
Well, it's a tough ending for Tulsa. My hat goes off to Ebony Parker and Erica Wakefield for their contributions to Tulsa and everything that they've done. We've talked about Erica already, but she's had a tremendous career.
And we saw her eclipse 1,000 points last week. And when she set a new career high, going out in style in Tulsa. That was in front of the home crowd as well.
And to the 8 seniors of Wichita State, I mean, you know, for Coach to come in and embrace them and them to embrace her, and you could always like push your seniors aside and say, I'm going to work on the younger kids because I'm only going to have you for a year. But no, she says, hey, you're important to me. I want you to have a positive experience. And that's what the American is all about.
Even the seniors who just showed up last year as transfers for Wichita State have played under 3 different head coaches. It has been some turnover for them. Finally, a steady guidance from Keith Adams. And again, there you see Addison Richards, perhaps some new Richards fans in the crowd.
Exactly.
Some future Golden Hurricane players, perhaps.
A late press here. Coach Mossman not going to throw in the towel here. She's like, hey, we've got under a minute, but we have a chance. Let's go press them and foul them and see if they can make their free throws.
I want to take time to thank those who've been with us for the past couple of months here in American Play at the American Digital Network. Scott, Martin, Carl, Dustin, Ignacio, all fantastic people to be surrounded by, and of course countless other men and women to help making these productions possible to bring you American hoops. Great to close things out here in Tulsa with the newest members, the Shockers of Wichita State, making this a 12-team league, and that much more competition you would expect in the conference tournament this weekend.
And Lincoln, it's been a pleasure calling with you.
Well, best of luck. We already know you have that postseason bid.
Yeah, you got some of your own, so good luck to you.
As right now, Wichita State up by 13, looking to dribble the clock out. The Shockers are going to close out their first regular season in the American, going 9-7 in conference. They will improve to 14-16 overall. Quite the finish down the stretch here, including a 4-game winning streak going into the conference tournament. That's the second best winning streak going into the tournament, behind only a certain team that's undefeated on the year. So Coach Mossman and Coach Adams embrace at midcourt. 6 seed and I believe 12 seed going into this weekend. We'll have a chance to check back in with Keith Adams when we return with some post-game interviews here on ADN.
Wichita State University is Shocker Nation. We exceed expectations, push boundaries, seize opportunities, and move boldly ahead. We are student-centered and innovation-driven. It's who we are. Our vision is simple but powerful. Create, innovate, collaborate, and celebrate. With one unifying purpose: to shock the world.
I'm Kirk Smith, and this is my story. I'm a captain of TU's track and cross country teams, and I'm a Rhodes Scholar. My life's pretty simple. I run, I work, and then I run some more. My research focuses on combating climate change by driving down the cost of energy storage. And that's my story. So far.
And again, the Shockers will continue to march on this weekend, where they will get the conference tournament started as the number 6 seed. Best of luck to Keitha Adams and company, as well as Tulsa, as Erica Wakefield with 17 points winds up with your game high here on Senior Day. But Bruce Howard is with the victorious head coach Keitha Adams one final time here on ADN.
Well, Coach, a road win. You finish out your first season in the American. Really tremendous performance. Your team played hard. You said rebounding. You rebounded.
We did. They dominated our place on the boards, and we did a much better job in this game on the boards.
And you had 2 players with double-doubles. You can do that, and you have a chance to dominate inside.
Well, it's always good when you have double-doubles. I thought we had a better second half. Credit Tulsa for really competing and making us earn it today. It was kind of an ugly one, but we'll take it.
Yeah, and your mantra has been go get it. You went and got it, and your team has really finished strongly. You have to feel good about the momentum you have going into the conference tournament.
We've been playing better ball than we were at the first of the year, that's for sure. And, we just got to play 40 minutes tonight. We didn't play 40 minutes, but we had a good enough second half to get the win, so we'll take it.
Coach, congratulations.
Hey, thank you. Go Shocks.
Keitha Adams joining us as the head coach of Wichita State, finishing out the regular season in their first year in the American. Outstanding job. We're joined by Rangy Bassard, who played really hard out there. And I know you didn't shoot it as well as you'd like, but you played hard. The whole team played hard, didn't they?
Yes, it's a great team win. We had a lot of possessions where we turned the ball over, kind of careless. But Coach got us in the locker room. She said, sometimes it's just better to win ugly. And so even though it was an ugly type of win, I'm very proud of my team. We closed out the season really well, and we did better than a lot of people expect us to be. So from here on out, we can just continue to grow. And for next year's team, I'm so excited to see where they place.
Why are you guys so successful going and getting it, so to speak? Go get it. Rebounding-wise, why are you so successful in that area?
I think it's just our chemistry and our bond. I think we have become really successful off the floor as well as on the court, so it's kind of easy to bring each other together when we step on the court, and we just really go out there and work hard for each other. And at the end of the day, it's basketball. We've been doing it for years now, so it's about having fun, especially for our seniors. This is our last conference game, so great way to close it out. But as far as going to get it, that's our motto, and it will continue to be our motto as long as we play basketball.
Yeah, now you get to go to the American Conference Tournament, which for you guys is something new at Uncasville, Connecticut. Are you excited about it, and what do you think you can do?
I'm very excited. I think we can make a lot of noise. I don't think a lot of people were expecting us to do so well, but we have to take it a game at a time. We can't really look forward and ahead because there's so many great teams in this conference, and so you never really know what the outcome of the game can be. So we just have to take a possession at a time, quarter at a time, and go down there in Connecticut and give it our all and play our best.
Rangy, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Rangy Bassard joining us on our postgame. 15-11 for her as she leads Wichita State to the victory over Tulsa here in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Thank you, Bruce. One of 2 double-doubles, including Sabrina Lozada-Cabbage for the Shockers tonight. Again, one final time, big thank you for Bruce Howard, Angela Beck. I'm Lincoln Rose. Our ADN crew, what a ride it has been. We now hand things over to ESPN3 and ESPNU for day 1 coverage on Saturday. The American tournament for the women should be a fun one, as Wichita State and Tulsa both moving on to continue their 2017-2018 campaigns.